Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everyone. Ain't got a lot to talk about this week. Kind of busy. Out here on winter vacation with the family. And yeah, so far so good. Currently on the lift. Hemsedal, Norway. Not too shabby. So, what did I do this week? Well, I've been hearing so much about Pliney the Elder, I decided to go ahead and make it. So, I did Pliney. Let me go ahead and show you some footage of that, and we'll get back. Okay, HLT's at 65 degrees, 66, and the mash tun is currently at 65. Everything is recycling. Mash tun is recycling through the HLT and coming back up here into the mash tun. Right. Okay. I haven't dove in yet. Getting ready to do that, but thought you might like to see the crush. Right, so this is what the crush is like from my brew store. It's a little bit, it's a little grainy. Yes, all pun intended. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get this in there and go from there. All mashed in. Current temperatures are HLT is at 65 and the mash tun is rising to 65 once it gets there. I'll call Mark and then we'll wait for 1 hour. We'll let the mash go for an hour. This time I've got called for starting off with 4.5 gallons of water, and I did. You can see the current level of the water is here about 5.5 gallons of water after I put the grains in. So I went from 4.7 up to 5.5 with the grains. Grains are soaking up quite a bit. Currently it's running through the lines. It's looking pretty good right now. It was a little bit blurry before, of course, but now it's starting to go in there. You can see this time I've got more fluid going around. Got the tube there coming up over the thermocoupler or the temperature probe, and yeah, so it's mashing through. I said I'll let this go for about an hour. See, we're currently about 64 degrees there, between dry and medium, and 65 on the HLT, so everything's matching up. Alright, a few more minutes and then okay, been mashing in here for about an hour, and beginning to mash out. So I've increased the temp on the PID on the HLT to be 78, currently 79. I've got the mash tun pushing up to 75. Once it gets to 75, I'll go ahead and start the sparge and filling up the boil kettle. Right now we've got the lines are looking really clear. Everything's looking really nice. I'm all set for the boil today with the Pliney the Elder recipe. Calls for a buttload of Columbus, which I'm using the CTZs for 6.1. It's 2011, but for the Simcoe, I've got some brand new 2012 hops, and also for the Centennial. Using pellets for this one. I got 2 California ales that I'll be using, and there's my yeast nutrient, and also some Orflock tablets. So, got the first hop edition, the 99 grams or 3.5 ounces of Columbus ready to go. Yep. I'll go ahead and, looks like we're at 75, so I'll go ahead and start putting these over to the boil kettle. Okay, so don't worry about the splashes down there. There's no leaks. That's from just letting some of these lines go. So right now what we got is water coming out of the HLT, pushing and clearing out the coil, and pushing sparge water over into the mash tun. Mash tun, as you can see this time, I've actually got the water a good flow in here. The water's a good inch and a half above the grain bed, and that's coming out through the pump up into the boil kettle. And I'm going to be doing this pretty slow this time. So there's just a dribble coming there and filling this up. This process of filling the boil kettle should take about 45 minutes, and then we'll be able to ramp up for the boil. See you then. Alright, so we got the mash is all, the sparge is all done. Came over to the boil kettle. Recipe called for 8, but my system and my numbers called for a little bit more than 8, since loss in the lines and things like that. My current numbers for the pre-boil are, yeah, let me see, 1055 at 60 C. Yeah, the gravity on the recipe, that looks like crap. Original gravity should be 1072, and that's with some dextrose, so I think I'm going to be pretty close. Currently chatting with Tiny. How you doing, Tiny?
I'm alright, man.
And we are doing this. So, just cranking the boil kettle up now, currently at 67 degrees, and starting to get the foam over. So yeah, that's where we are. Alright, we got ourselves at a boil. I've set the PID to 80% for heat, and 90 minutes on the clock, 20 minutes into it. Here's the boil. Hot break is reached. That's an aggressive boil, but it's going to die down here because I just set it down to 80, so that was at 100%, so it's going to get a little bit smoother. I'll let that sort of clear out a little bit. Then we got the first hop additions right here, 3.5 ounces of Columbus CTZ. Add that in. I'm going to control that boil over. We'll get back to you. Alright, so we're reaching the 45-minute mark here on our boil, and that calls for the next hop addition, which is another serving of Columbus. So we'll put that in there. Yeah, it's going along pretty good. 45 minutes in the boil, we're now down to about 7 3/4 gallons. So that's not bad. That's where we're at. And we'll come back next hop edition. Chatting with Tiny. Now I'm 2 minutes late on my next hop edition. 60 minutes, 62 minutes. Should have been done in 60 minutes. I'm doing a 90-minute boil. So 30 minutes left in the boil, and here comes my Simcoe edition. Let's go Simcoe. Alright, we got those two. How about those rugrats over there? Hey, what are you doing?
Hey.
What time is it over there?
I'm drinking rum.
Drinking rum. Uh-huh. Alright, 75 minutes into the boil. That's 15 minutes left to the 90 minutes. Time to add in the Warflock tablet. And there she goes. Also, half a teaspoon of yeast nutrient. Put that in there. There she goes. Yep, 15 minutes. I'll add in the 0-minute edition, which will be more Simcoe and Centennial. So we'll see you then. Alright, we're about 30 seconds over the 90-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off the boil kettle. And then add in the, going to get a bit of a whirlpool going here. I'm going to go ahead and add in my last hop addition, which is, what is it, Tiny? It's yeah, Centennial and Simcoe. So about an ounce of Centennial and 2.5 ounces of Simcoe. There we go. Add those bad boys in there. Give this another whirlpool. Stir it up. Get the hops all mixed in. Hopefully they're in the center. Doesn't really matter. My filter will filter it all out anyway. Let's get it all mixed in. Good. And then we'll let this settle down for a couple minutes while I hook up the wort chiller and let the hops sort of get absorbed into it. And final boil volume is about 6 3/4 gallon. See it sort of bouncing up and down there. Yeah. So that's good. Hopefully we'll get our 6-gallon mark into the fermentation bucket after going through the tubes and the wort chiller and whatnot. So we'll come back then with a well, the start gravity. What a mess. Okay, so in the boil kettle I've got about maybe a liter or half a liter of good liquid in there. There's quite a bit of debris. You see I'll move it around a bit. And there's still some wort left in the lines, so coming out of the brew kettle, there's some here going down into the pump. I can probably open that up, let that flow through, then it goes down into the wort chiller, and then from the wort chiller back up here into the fermentation bucket. Now I was aiming for 23 liters, and you can see I've actually only reached 20 liters. So I'm about 3 liters shy. And I know I probably wasted a liter just priming the pump with the wort and then letting the first wort sort of run away into a pot, right? So whatever was left from the sanitation stuff in the wort chiller, I just let that run off. But on the good news is my target was 1072 for a OG. My OG at 20 liters is more than I expected. So instead of hitting 1072, I actually hit 1080, and that's at 18 degrees Celsius. I'm not going to show you that, but that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and in order to make sure that I hit my numbers correct as close as possible for 1072, and to make sure I get the right bitterness that Pliney the Elder expects, things like that, I'm going to go ahead and top this up with water until I reach the 1072 mark, and then we'll come back and see where that's at. Alright, let's see if we can get those numbers. See the 1070 there? It's right about 1072 underneath the foam. And that's after leveling it up to 23 liters. So I met the numbers on this exactly. Even though I did have to top it up with water, I met the numbers. Alright, so there we go. I got 2 California Ale yeast, WLP001. One is dated for best before May 30th of 2013. The other one is best before June 6th of 2013. Alright, so both of these have gone into the fermentation bucket. Here it is right now. Got it all capped off, raring to go. I tapped it up to 23 liters. That put it right at 1072. And there's about 3 liters of what would you call it, trub or proteins laying down at the bottom. And then so there's 23 liters. 19 is actually 5 gallons US. So right now there's 6 gallons, which is pretty much what we were aiming for. We wanted exactly 6 gallons in the fermenter and expect to get out 5.5 gallons bottling day. So we're going to go ahead and let this settle here for about 7 to 10 days fermenting in the primary, rack it off into the secondary, and then we start a 2-week regimen of dry hopping. Over here to the left, I've got the first pale ale, based on the Columbus Ave pale ale, what was that, what I call it? The Columbus the Explorer pale ale. And that originally came out to be a potentially 7-point something beer. Topped it off from 12.5 liters of water to 19. Put it at 1045. So net, last gravity I took was at 1009 actually. So that attenuated out really nicely. So I'm looking forward to bottling that up in about another week. And yeah, let it set in condition for a couple weeks.
That's fun. Alright, so you just finished watching the Pliney the Elder brew. That was based on the recipe from 1995, written by Vinny himself from the Russian River Brewing Company. I was talking with Nate from Hopback Nate, and he held up a bottle and said, "Hey, wait, even though your recipe says 7.5 ABV with 95 ABU, the one on his bottle that he was holding from 2012, 2013 was 8.0 ABV and like 120 IBU. So my recipe was an older one, but you know, that's about the same time when it got all the raves. So yeah, I'll don't know when I'll be brewing again, but that's the way it goes. Just enjoying the week here with the family. Hoping you guys having a happy Homebrew Wednesday and a good week, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care, be safe, be kind. We'll see ya. Bye.
Sponsored by his wife, Elisa.